Record here, record there. We doing our thing. We live. We live. We live right now. Today is September 14th, 2024. It's about 4:15 in the morning. I mean, in the morning. It's 4:15 in the afternoon. We're just gonna get into it. I've been liking my grinder. The Kin grinder. The K1, I believe. They have K0 all the way to K5 or 6. And this has been going really well. I've been really enjoying this grinder, so to speak. And let's go ahead and drink this cup of coffee. This is decaf. This has that astringent type of decaf type of taste on it. It is very it has a grapefruity taste, but it's not too crazy right now. But I've been love using this grinder. Been playing around with different profiles and all that stuff, and it's getting me to think a little bit about grinders again, revisiting grinders and how important they are in the coffee brewing repertoire or part of life. And I think one of the biggest things is kind of convincing people to spend some money on a grinder. I think that's really where it comes down to. This grinder was about $70. Good grinder. Everything works really well with it. It's just one of those things to where it's quite amazing. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain if it makes sense, but when I'm looking at the grinds, actually, they're very like fluffy. And a lot of my coffees lately have been very perfumey, so to speak. It's kind of weird. I'm getting that more so in the taste, not in so much of the smell. Also drinking some creamer coffee. But like I said, I do that from time to time. But other than that, we're doing pretty good. I'm really trying to understand grinders even more so. And today is more so like a off day, but I couldn't not stop or do anything in that makes any sense. I had to do something today, but other than that, that's all I'm doing. I'm doing this podcast and then I'll be done. But I have so many things on my list to do. I think one of the next videos I'm going to do with extraction is do the fast filter versus slow filters. And that's going to be more so like a very simple video, probably 2-3 minutes long. I don't know when I'm going to do it. More than likely sometime during the week. Tomorrow, I really do need to or want to get the Mr. Coffee recipes done. I do need to jot down a couple of things because it does need to be kind of cleared up a little bit, kind of helping people out with their recipes and all that. But yeah, I like to say this. I like my Virtuoso. I do like it quite a bit. EK43, kind of revisiting, kind of come back to it. It's really so much of a very magical grinder. And testing different things like that crappy grinder that I had that I talked about before and using this Kin grinder has got me really thinking about how important grinders are, because they are. They kind of make or break a coffee. A lot of times we think it's the coffee, but it's really not sometimes. But the coffee just works really well. And it could get to the point to where if we don't understand how we're grinding coffee, understanding our recipes, then we're really in the back foot of really enjoying our coffee. And I think that's part of my funk, really, more than anything. It's just that being a part of my funk of like really truly enjoying the coffees the way they are. And that's not cool. And you shouldn't suffer that way either. Meaning that if you've changed many variables within the process of making the coffee, it more than likely is the grinder. You've been brewing coffee for a while, so you know your technique, you know your brew style, you do pour overs and all that good stuff, right? But it could be your grinder. That could be the limiting factor. That's probably the thing that's not allowing you to really taste what the coffee truly really is. And we have to understand that if that's part of our thing that we do, because think about it. We have the water, you make it the coffee, the water, whichever way you want to. You either use distilled or tap water or whatever your method for the water is, right? And then you have your beans. But when we really think about this whole thing, the way the coffee beans are actually ground or grinded, that's the thing that we kind of lose, not faith in, but we forget that that's an extremely critical part of this whole thing. We want our coffees ground, grinds, whatever ratio that we do, or whichever setting that we pick to work really well for us. That's really where we're getting at here. And if we let that kind of play around on a sideline and not realizing that that's extremely important in what we're trying to do, then we're going to be in a place to where it's not going to make any sense for us to keep moving on to get this gadget, do this thing, and figure out that it's more so than the grinder. And the beauty of this grinder that's right in front of me is that it's really not that expensive. It's $70. It's just tasting a lot better. If I wanted to, probably get it a little bit less astringent. I had to do a couple of pulses. The reason why, because I didn't want that bed to be too high when we're playing around with the coffee. But that's cool though, because now we're really getting into the essence, the nuances of brewing and understanding that part. But now we can do that because now we're playing in the right field. We're playing with the grinder that's going to help us get there a lot quicker. Like even more so now because the clarity in the cup is truly really there. And like I was alluding to before, is that the virtuoso has a place. It's okay. The virtuoso doesn't really have a place. The encore more so has a place. The encore is $150. The virtuoso looks better, looks nicer. You know, it's the same grinder, but it just looks nicer. But it still has the same faults as the encore, which is that as much as you would like the coffee to be nice and clear, so you can like pinpoint most of what you're actually tasting. The thing about it is that now you're truly really able to do that thing. You can kind of pinpoint of like things that you've done with the brewing process, understanding it that way, figuring things out as we get closer into the things that make sense in coffee. Like I could truly really enjoy this coffee now. Like I said, there's a couple things I will change with the recipe. Like if I don't want to change the actual grind size, I can probably decrease the amount of temperature to extract a little bit less than what it's doing right now. To probably decrease decrease on the amount of astringent acidity, because I wasn't going crazy with that bed because I wanted the bed to get the total amount of extraction. Those are little things I can play around with. Those are little things that we could play around with when we actually make coffee and understand it. Don't get me wrong, I'm still using my TDS meter, but the beauty of it is that now we are trusting our palate in order to do this the way that does make sense for us. And now the gear isn't in the way. It's helping us see exactly what we're really trying to do with our coffees in whichever application that we're trying to do, to understand it, to enjoy it, and to move on with our life. Because think about it. For a lot of us, coffee is a big part of our lives. It truly is. I truly believe that it is. But when we're in that element and enjoying it for what it is, it allows us to probably partake into other things that we care about in our lives. Like I said, I'm just talking right now. I'm enjoying a lot of things here. And it's cool to get really passionate and happy with the things that we're doing with our coffees now. Yeah, $70. And you can really get in the ball game of enjoying and loving your stuff. So that's the cool thing about this. That's really cool. And I hope that you can also enjoy your coffee the way that you want to. eventually I can't wait to share my thoughts, my aspirations, my nuances of understanding grinders even more so. I think, and I do think I do have the right amount of gear in order to give you a better picture of what you're really trying to do with that coffee. I'm still going to get one more, which is the Top Dog hand grinder. But for the most part, this one right here is really surprising me. It's getting me in a place to where I think about coffee constantly. I think about the recipes that I'm going to do. I don't think so much about the grinder. It doesn't even matter anymore. It's like this when I was doing photography. I had an image in my head, right? And I thought about this image, for instance. I thought about how I was going to create the image. I thought about if there were any type of gear or knowledge, extra knowledge that I needed to in order to create this particular image that was in my head. I was thinking about my actual photography skills that I have learned throughout the years. And I was thinking more so like an artist. And then when I actually took that picture, and it was mostly exactly close to what I thought that it should be, my mind was completely blown that I was able to create something that I thought about. And I think that's the cool thing about all of this is that we're in a place to where we truly get to understand that we are able to create a masterpiece, so to speak, or the creation that's in our head. I'm almost there with video. Not really, because that's extremely different type of way of going about it. But bringing it back to coffee is that now that I have the tools, because don't get me wrong, the EK43 is amazing coffee grinder. It works really well. I can create whatever type of image that I'm thinking about in this coffee. But something about being on the same playing field as you when you're making your cup of coffee gets me in a better light. It gets me to understand even more so some of the things that you're going through. Because when you throw anything in that EK43, it can handle it. It does a really good job. And I think that's where we're at right now. That's the beauty of this. So when I'm telling you about my recipes, even more so, you're telling me about your recipes of what works, what doesn't work, if it makes sense or whatnot. That's kind of like where we're at with a lot of this stuff. And I'm glad that now, even more so, that I can truly, really recommend something that will help out your experience with your cup of coffee, with making that cup of coffee and experimenting and loving it and understanding it even more so, because it's one of those things to where you can be a magician too every morning. You can probably think about the cup of coffee that you want to actually drink and do that and enjoy it and brew that cup of coffee. That's pretty cool. That's where we're at with a lot of this stuff. And I think that's the reason why you see the excitement in me even more so, because now we're able to truly, really get to the meat of the matter of what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What kind of things that we are really trying to get to in our toolbox? Are we thinking about this too much or too long? Do we need to go back to the basics? Think about the water. How important is time? Those are some of the questions that we really want to explore and delve into. So that's cool. And I'm enjoying this, and it's so much fun. So that's what I got for you. Those are some of the things that I wanted to talk to you about. We're just going to go deeper and deeper and deeper into this rabbit hole to really understand what we have. And like I said, to bring it back to all of the things that I'm saying is that it's cool now that I have these things in order to make the coffee. So now I could try this grinder, that grinder, this grinder, that grinder, and to give you a broader understanding of really what that grinder is doing to that particular coffee. So that's where we're at with this. Really, truly exploring and getting to the meat of being a magician with our coffees. using what we have, knowing the different parameters of that coffee, and now figuring out the game plan. Because this is what it is. It is a challenge. It is figuring out a game plan. It's cool. That's perfectly fine. So yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye.